and I now understand what happened and what I'd like to change moving forward. And it's another thing to say I am a failure. You know what I'm saying? And hello family, hello friends, hello GOLA clan. Welcome back to yet another episode of 30 Lessons at 30. My name is Kwena, and if you're new here, welcome. If you've been part of the GOLA clan, welcome back. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. It helps us really grow this channel and reach the people we'd like to reach. So thank you. So today's topic is a very popular topic, and that is failure. So in the past, I'm someone whose relationship with failure hasn't been a healthy one. I'll give you a few examples. So for example, I would experience a failure. I would have maybe a failed relationship, friendship. I'd have a failed exam, test, whatever. Doesn't matter. But I'd always wrap my identity around that experience, and I always identified myself with that experience. For example, there's a difference between saying I had an experience that I had failed at, and I now understand what happened and what I'd like to change moving forward. And it's another thing to say I am a failure. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we may go through things that challenge us. We may go through things that are difficult, and we may feel like that experience is part of our identity. That experience is who we are. But I've come to learn that, one, that is not true. One decision does not define you, and one moment or experience does not define you, whether good or bad. So for example, you can have an experience where you made a really bad decision and the consequences thereof were not really good. And you can either take that moment and say, okay, that was Kwena then. This is what I've learned from the experience, but who is Kwena now, right? And maybe do better the next time. Another experience that I also want to touch on while we're talking about failure is your relationship to success as well. Because sometimes, for example, you'll have those seasons where you're doing well, things are happening for you, and you start to identify with that as well. That's also not very healthy, in my opinion. And I say that because life is seasonal, and so you need to find your center and find a sense of equilibrium when you are going through certain things. So yes, you achieved this thing, right, which is great, and you should celebrate that. But at the same time, it is not your identity. So for example, I don't necessarily identify with, let's say, my qualification or my degree or whatever. That's not my identity. That's part of what I do. That is not who I am. So being clear with regards to that. So even with failure, I have the same relationship with it, and that has helped me to have a healthier relationship with success. That has helped me to have a healthier relationship with failure, right? And when we sort of take it from that perspective, you tend to approach life a bit differently. So for example, if something good or bad happens in your life, the next day is always a fresh start for you. You always say, okay, well, this happened, what can I do about it next? You know what I mean? Each day is new for you. So changing that mindset and how you view, certain experiences in your life will be much healthier for you. And I'm someone who's had multiple failures, but the truth is we all do, right? And it's usually just like the success moments that we post online and we share with people and but we never really talk about how to navigate the failures that we experience. And it's more often than not that you will have a project that you'll try to put together and it doesn't go well. And often those projects are the very projects that will never see the light of day. People will never get to hear about, but you know what those are. So yeah, my relationship with failure has significantly changed, and it has helped me navigate things. So for example, even in corporate spaces or at work, I'll have a particular project that I'll have to complete, and maybe I didn't do so well on that project. I don't like make that my entire identity where it's like, oh my gosh, I can't do my job, blah, blah, blah. No, it was that one moment, and I pick up, the pieces where I left off, whether it's something, that I didn't get quite right or whatever. What can I do to maybe improve it in the future? You know what I mean? So that's how I sort of approach failure. And what I found that it isn't the failures that we learn the most. So it's never really an L for you. It's never really a loss. So with every failure, there's always a lesson that you can gain from it as well. And those lessons oftentimes are much greater than what you would have learned had you always been successful, or you'd always achieved everything easily, quickly, Those things are the things that build character. But I get character building. So yeah, I now take failure as an experience, something that happens at a point in time, and it's not something that I no longer how do I say this? I no longer identify failure as part of who I am, but rather as an experience and as a lesson. So yeah, that is lesson number 8, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.
To the seed of hope, we say GOLA. To eternal joy and peace, we say GOLA. To our dreams, we say GOLA, GOLA, GOLA. GOLA, 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 GOLA.